Hey shadows, I get asked questions all the time about being deaf. Things like, how do you hear music? Ooh, can you hear? And your dreams. So, I've put together at least some of the most common questions I get. And today I'm answering them for you. So let's learn how to sound. Can you hear anything? Is it completely silent? Ooh, is it muffled? I can't hear anything at all. I have what you call a profound hearing. My audiogram shows that I have above 120 decibel hearing loss. Do you remember hearing before you became deaf? Nope. I don't remember anything. I was too young. Can you hear yourself talk? Do you know if you are speaking loud? Can you feel yourself talk? I can't hear myself talk, but I do know if I'm speaking loud because I can feel my voice when I'm talking. I also know when I'm talking really low or really high. I even know when I have a croak in my throat too, like if you're seeing coughing, you've got that time, you know. So you need to, clear voice. I can feel everything here. How did you become deaf? For spinal meningitis. The main question I get asked a lot. How did you learn to read lips? Is it hard? Is it easy? I don't remember learning to read lips. It just happened. I was poor. My parents said that I naturally became more visible. They just noticed I just look around more. Read their lips, their expressions. Is it hard to read some people's lips? Yes, depends on how they talk. Some people are really easy to read lips, especially if they talk they show their appearance. But people that talk really, they only show their bottom teeth. Really hard with lips. Have to be able to see the teeth, the tongue, the way the mouth moves, and them looking at you, facing you. Also, facial hair. There's a really important factor that plays a part. So, my dad, I grew up all reading lips. So my dad had a mustache. So I always told my dad, hey, time for a trim. My dad always knew it was time for a trim. How long did it take for you to learn to sing? How long did it take for you to become fluent? While I was at college, I took 5 semesters of sign language. I didn't even become fluent until I was student teaching during my last semester of college. And what I learned at college was not ASL, it was more sound English. C1, C2, because I was learning to be a teacher for the deaf. So I learned what I teach at the schools to the deaf kids. So it wasn't until I was doing my teaching career that I started to learn ASL by interacting with deaf. So be patient with yourself. Depending on the sound system that you are learning, it takes time to become fluent. Do you like music? How do you hear music? If you put your hand on the speaker, can you feel the beat? I can distinguish the different types of music that are being played and some instruments. I do enjoy music, I just don't like rap. If you can feel it doesn't feel pretty. It feels not good. My husband is awesome. Back when we were in college, we would go dancing. My husband always brought me close to the speaker, so I would be close to the so I can feel the music while we're dancing. Awesome. How do you drive if you can't hear the traffic noise? Do you pick a car based on what it looks like, or if it's more helpful for me to drive? Have eyes. Very visual. I make it a point in check the mirror. I look around, I can see what happens. I can move out of the way. And so do I pick a car based on what it looks like? Yes. Not by it's helpful to me. No. Hey, I learned to drive in 1986. If you can remember cars way back from 1986, none of them had all those special features. They were not even formal. The car I drive now is very formal. It makes my family crazy. Do I hear it? No. So it's perfect for me. But I will say that the car I drive now, I had them side mirrors on the other side. So when a car is passing, it lights up. If it's on this side or lights up, so it's nice to know there's a car approaching me by the side, or if I'm backing out, the light, so it's nice to see them. That visual is really nice, but I don't pick a car because it's helpful to me. Nope. Too many years of experience driving. Wow. Now this question I get asked often. Do we should hear again? No, not at all. I love being deaf. Love the silence. I don't feel I can't be singing any noise. I don't feel I can't be singing any type of sound. When you think, do you think in English? I talking well. Ooh, hey, so. When you dream, do you dream in English or as well? Both. I think I read in ASL and English both. Sometimes I even text in ASL or text in English both. Can you hear the dreams? No, I am deaf in my dreams. Sometimes I'm silent, sometimes I really deep. The part that I can't hear in my dreams really, truly addresses the question that I have if I can remember hearing before I became deaf. Maybe if I remember hearing before I became deaf, maybe the story, the experience that I have dreaming would be different. Just a family son. Yes, my husband and my children's son. Growing up, I was all So I never understand. How for my parents and my siblings never understand. Still work with them and each part. We've never had a problem communicating with each other. But I know that if I struggled with video games, they would have ruined the sound. Have you ever closed your eyes to prevent an argument? This very embarrassed to admit this. Now my proudest moments. Finally experience the other side of this situation when a student when I was teaching closed her eyes while I was lecturing her. Ouch. Well, it was an eye-opener. That was literal. It was an eye-opener. Is there anything you don't like about being deaf? Sadly, but yes, students taking advantage of my deafness for their benefit to say inappropriate things in class. If you don't know, I teach hearing students ISL, so when they take advantage of my deafness for their benefit, that bothers me. This. Did you play sports? How do you know? Yes, I played all sports. I didn't know when it happened. Again, being extra visual really key. I had teammates that really helped, a wonderful culture that really helped. So anything that happened, I could see the team. Everyone talked. Okay. Watch the webs, watch the friends, watch the players. That's how I play sports. How do you wake up? Now when the doorbell rings, phone. How do you know? Good morning, when I wake up, my alarm. The type of light for the alarm had tried since I was a kid. It has always been a light that flashes, that wakes me up every morning. Now I had a hearing dog, a service dog, and that dog always let me know when the doorbell rang, the phone rang, or someone knocks at the door, or even if I smoke, they all of any type of alarm or noise that happened, my hearing dog let me know. Biggest struggle being deaf. Educating the public on everything. How to communicate with the deaf, accessibility, deaf rights, everything. And I enjoy teaching, educating other people about deaf everything. Have you ever worn hearing aids? Yes, I started wearing them when I was 4. They were not. They were boxes with. Then later when it became behind them, I wore them. This is back in the 1980s. Now, I don't wear them. I haven't stopped wearing them when I was 12 because even back then they were not strong enough for me to continue wearing them. They were helpful with high sounds, low sounds, different pitch. It was helpful with feeling with lips, it was helpful, but I couldn't. The different types of sounds I would hear, then look around, figure out what it is. So if you called out my name, I never looked, never. So I stopped wearing them when I was 12. Now, should I have better hearing aids that are stronger than before? I just have no interest in wearing them. I prefer the silence. All your other senses heightened. Yes, I'm more visually aware. I can see people approach me before they touch me. My peripheral vision is on point. I can feel yes, my other senses are heightened. Do you ever wonder what people's voices sound like? Used to I did when I was younger. Then, when I became mother, yes, wonder what my children's voices sound like. I do have an idea of how they sound. By putting my hand on their throats, when they talk, I feel. Hello? When you go to the movies, what do? Do the breathe. Does it breathe now? I've used the captioning glasses. The device that captions is a square, it's like a B to B. To record video while movies to record. It's 2D. Can't. It's impossible. Honestly, don't enjoy movies. Maybe because of my experience growing up, I didn't have time to look at the movies until I was in my 20s. Mid-20s, closer to 30s. So I never really enjoyed movies. I've always waited for the DVD or the VHS to come out. Now, since I have time to make glasses, they're not comfortable, they're heavy. And just, you have to put something in between to protect them. No, it's just heavy. I was served for all of the movie theaters to offer more captioning, open captioning, not have to use the glasses or other devices. But now that the new ASL movies have come out, for the theater person that's trying to get enjoy that night and watch. Want to be home. Captions, always captions, is always on. Can you hear loud noise such as gun going on or airplane jet? No, I can't hear, but I can feel it from the ground and standing on. My family enjoys target shooting for fun. I don't have to use those earbuds for protection. Sometimes I can feel the vibrations in my eardrums. Sometimes not, it just depends on the gun. Was it hard growing in depth? Yes, it was growing in depth, but still had a normal childhood. My parents would not allow me to use my deafness as a crutch. I grew up in a hearing world. My deaf friends were also oral, So we talked with each other, we decide with each other. I said later when I was mainstreamed. Well, really, I was already deaf in my high school. It was really struggling. I had to educate them on how to be friends with me. They didn't know they would be friends with me, but they didn't know how to communicate with me. So really I had to learn to teach them how to communicate with me. But once they learned how to communicate with me, I made some friends, I made some good friends. My friend group was not huge, but it was a strong group of good friends. People think about being deaf. And we think, since I was poor and been deaf, I don't remember hearing before, so I can't compare. Being deaf, the only thing I've ever known. It is who I am. I hope I answered all of your morning questions, but if you have more, drop them in the comments below. I will love to hear them. I also dive even deeper into deaf culture, history, and ASL grammar in the courses that I teach. So if you want to learn more about accelerated, check out the link in the description. Until next time, keep learning how to sound.